Yo, yo. Episode 47, Mac Gamble podcast. It's been a couple of weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks since the last pod. A lot's been happening. Busy start to the year. It's always the way. A lot of energy put in different places. So I haven't been too hard on myself on podcasts. This is just a hobby and a thing I like to do here and there. I enjoy it, and I know people get a lot out of it. So for the people that have asked the last couple of weeks, here we are. Haven't really necessarily put pressure on myself in doing a podcast. I sort of noticed that if I'm like, I'm going to do one tomorrow, I notice that little sort of thing come up of like trying to ensure that I'm going to be right to do one tomorrow. Because sometimes obviously the energy of just, speaking whatever comes through sometimes does, not necessarily it's taxing in a way, but it's like you've got to sort of be in that nice energy to be able to, for me anyways, to come on here and not project myself as anything but myself. That was the reason why I called it the Mac Gamble podcast. It's to stay as aligned and true to myself as possible and to allow myself to speak my truth as to whatever's going on in the now, which in turn allows people to look at their stuff and see what's going on with them. But what's been happening? Been in a very good energy lately, and it's funny because all we are is energy. So for me, I've been observing myself and sort of seeing where I'm burning too much energy, mentally or physically, emotionally even, and where I can sort of keep myself at that nice sort of standard consistently and also just allow things to come through. So probably dive deep into that. Probably a good place to start is what come through for me was basically what I see is that if I get a good night's sleep and I wake up feeling fresh, I'm at 100%. It's like charging your phone. Best way to describe it. I start my day at 100%. Now, my two biggest things, one of them not so much, but I just know what it does for me. How it sort of sets me on a little bit of a spiral, which is porn. But then also the biggest thing is my phone. So, I think it's been 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks without porn. And since what's today? Wednesday. Since last Friday, I haven't gone on social media before midday. And what I noticed was it's just Instagram that sort of ropes me in. Facebook Messenger is a nice energy exchange. So you're sort of talking to someone, you're receiving content, you're sending something back. So that's not necessarily an energy drainer for me. Neither is Facebook. It's very easy to just check Facebook and there might be 3 or 4 notifications and they're just usually comments of someone and then that's sort of like at bay. But Instagram is the one that just sucks the energy out of me mentally. And then I feel like I'm in a state of lack. I'm not doing enough. I'm not moving as fast as everyone's moving. Takes me out of the present moment. Can't be present with other people. I feel drained. My eyes hurt. So since last Friday, I think it was, if I'm going to stem it back a little bit, probably last Wednesday or Thursday, I just know I've got more. I just know that in me, I've got a better place that I can sit with my standard. And it's a busy fucking couple months coming up. And I'm just like, for me to be sharp and as clear as I like to be, it was like the little voice come through. It was like the next couple months can be as hard or as easy as you want it to be. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm listening. And it's just that little voice. It's just that little conversation you have with yourself. And it was like, you know what to do to keep yourself as sharp as possible. Straight away, the feeling come up. And obviously I've been on the no porn train for a couple of weeks now, and it's been good. It's easy to, it's just more so when I'm bored, it's just easy. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, I've always had that ability to have the middle of the day off. My shifts are very different to everyone else's. So it's more of a boredom thing than necessarily anything else. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a habit, and I've been doing it since I was young, you know, whatever. But the phone thing is my biggest thing. Like, you know, I have 5 Instagram accounts, you know, multiple people from the gym, from coaching, from the podcasting, from just friendships and sending reels and fucking posting things and replying back to people. And it's just like this big fucking nonstop game. And I thought there was going to come a time that I could get on top of it. But you get on top of it and you check it 5 minutes later and there's another Instagram comment or message or some shit to get back to. So I sort of had to take my control back. So that little voice come through was like, the next couple of months is going to be as busy or as easy, as hard or as easy as you want it to be. And it's all on me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It was like, so what are the things you need to do to sharpen the toolbox? And I was like, no social media before midday. And I did it a week before I went to America. And I'll never forget the feeling. It was like day 3 or 4. And the girls were just playing. And it was literally like a whole different, like it was just, everything was just razor sharp, like HD, you know, and I could just see them differently. And I remember it very clearly. And then I went to America, was on my phone before midday and all that stuff. And then obviously you get back and you just go back into routine, whatever. So it's like, I need to make this a proper thing. There is nothing on that phone that needs to be addressed to before midday. Like if someone needs me, they got my number, call me, send me a text, hey, I got to talk, blah, 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 whatever. But, you know, usually before midday, I've probably checked it. Oh, I went to say 10 times, but I'd be lying to myself. At least 30 times. Like, you know, even on the escalators on the way down from the shops when you got a trolley and you got like 30 seconds, whip the phone out, bang, check Instagram, see quickly what's happening. And it's so hard to adjust to the real world and this cyber world, like back and forth. It's so fucking much. So I was like, you know what? Mentally for me, if I don't go on till midday, usually I have work in the afternoon or the girls or I'm chilling with the girls or something's going on. So from midday to 8 p.m, I can check it. I usually go to bed about 8:30 anyways. And I like to have it away at least half hour before I go to sleep. So that means that I've got so 1/3 of my day from 12 till 8, so it's 8 hours, 24 hours in a day, I've got access to check this thing. It's funny because every day I've checked it at like 1 p.m, 12:30, 12:45, maybe 3 p.m, not even fussed. And it feels so refreshing, honestly. And I'm not just fucking blowing smoke. It has changed my life massively not checking my Instagram until midday. Like, I am clearer, I am sharper, I know who the fuck I am, I know what I'm about, I know why I'm here, and I hone in on that from the start of the day. From the moment I wake up, I breathe, I'm like, mad, this is your time, buddy. Focus on what you've got to focus on. You got this, let's go, let's move. And then by the time it gets to midday, when I do check it, it's like I'm above I can see myself checking the Instagram. And with 5 accounts that I work off, literally some of the days I'm on there for like 10 minutes max. And I'm like, and then I just start scrolling and I'm like, oh, this is fucking too much. I got to get off. And then I'm off. And then I go back to the present moment, the thing that's actually real, that's in front of me, whether it's the girls, members at the gym, work stuff, whatever's going on. And I come back to this reality. And it's so refreshing. I'm telling you, like it's been a massive game changer for me. And it's like, don't get me wrong, yesterday I had a bit of resistance because what happens is the ego will want to check something else. So I kept refreshing the emails, kept trying to get people into classes. And then straight away it was like, why are you trying to get people into classes next Tuesday? Like, you got a wait list. Do you think people are sitting by their phones waiting to get in for next Tuesday? Like, no. Like, what are you refreshing your emails for? And it was that my body was looking for that dopamine hit. It's like a drug. It's a fucking drug, man. Like, biggest addiction I think of these phones. I'm telling you, like worse than drugs. Like I'm not gonna. Well, don't want to start a debate, but it's damn up there. Like mental health. Why is it so big? Or like not all of a sudden, but the last say 10 years. It's because everyone's got an opportunity to have access to other people's lives, and everyone's post their highlight reels, and which is completely fine. I get it. You're not going to post all your shit on socials, especially people that aren't vulnerable or don't want to open up to whatever. Like, you know, it's fine. But there's so much going on there, and it's so consuming. It just drains my battery tenfold. Now I have so much more energy, and it's been what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 6 days. Hasn't even been a week yet. And like, it's like I've gone from working off a 60% energy to probably like an 85, 90. You know, so much more productive, so much more present, I'm much more intuitive. So I'm much more going off the feeling I have rather than thinking. And it makes sense because Instagram makes you think. It puts you into the thinking mind. Fuck, why do they have that? Why didn't that happen? Because the mind wants to sort things out and protect you. Now, when you don't put yourself in that position to check Instagram, and I've got all my notifications off. So like when we talk notifications, like the little, your phone beeps or you get a thing on your lock screen that something's come up, or when you unlock it, there's a little number that tells you how many things you've got sitting there. Literally, the only numbers I see on my phone when I unlock it, nothing comes up except missed calls and text messages on my lock screen. But the second I unlock my phone, the only time I'll have a little red number is missed calls and text messages, which I know is personal because it's come directly to me. Facebook Messenger, no notifications or no numbers, same as emails, nothing. Like, because that is instantly, I've got like 0.2 of a second to not check it, which will put me in that spiral again of continuously checking my phone. So text messages and phone calls are the only notifications I have. I did that like probably like a year and a half ago, and it felt so good. So I've stayed on that, but now it's like, don't go on Instagram until midday. No ifs or buts. Don't give a fuck if someone's told you to check something. Write it down. Nothing is more important to me than me feeling the best I can. And it's up to people what they want to do with their life. And I guarantee if you're listening to this as a part of you that wants to feel better in your life, hence why the motivation behind this podcast and what have you. So if you are out there and you notice yourself having a big attachment to your phone, I'm telling you, this is like non-negotiable for me now. It's not something that in a month from now we're like, oh, I've gone back to like, you know, checking socials before midday. It's like, no, I don't care. Like, because I know how fucking good I feel. 2 days after I did it, shout out to the Slank, Mark Mack in Perth, good mate of mine. He's doing the same thing. I sent him a message. I said, dude, that's all I wrote was dude. And he's like, bro, like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? And I'm like, man, I feel so good. And you don't realize how good you feel until you do it. It's one of those things that's like, no, I'm not addicted. Like, I only check it like 5 times in the morning and then I go to work. It's like, yeah, but the 5 times you've checked it, what information or what percentage of battery have you burnt within yourself that could have been put towards something to actually benefit you? Because say for example, you don't do this and you check your phone fucking 50, 100, 150 times a day. I would love to ask you at the end of the day, what did you actually see on there? Like what was it on there that actually gave some sort of benefit to your life now? And I seen a funny reel. My friend commented in this book that I might buy. Yeah, not much else. I got like a big dopamine hit, which wasn't even real because I posted a photo and got heaps of likes. Then I kept checking who liked it, and then I kept checking my stories of who's watched it. It's like you're putting energy into so many other things and it takes it away from yourself. Every minute you put energy into something else, it's a minute away from yourself. Now, we can't just go through life putting all the energy into ourselves. especially when you got kids, you got work, like, you know, all that stuff. But you have a big chunk of battery that you can hold on to, that you can store by putting this practice in. And honestly, it has been one of the biggest practices for me. When I say practices, I mean like discipline. And because like yesterday I had full like sitting there and I was like, didn't have work in the morning. So it was very easy to like, because I'm used to putting energy into work in the morning. Yesterday I was off, and I think it was the first morning that I haven't had work or gone for a run or something where I've trained, but then I come home and I had like, it was like 8 a.m. And there was things I had to do on Instagram, like set up an Instagram post, set up a Facebook thing for the G3, like all this stuff. And the ego's like, do it now so you don't do it later. Like, do it now. And I'm thinking the second I fucking click on that Instagram and all these little red buttons come up of like 7 DMs, 16 comments, 15 this, couple friend requests, couple follows. And then I click on the little button to see the other Instagrams and it's like 17, 21, 47, 60. And it's like, bro, no, not doing it. Don't give a fuck. Don't care about it. I will care about it after midday. And it's funny because it gets to midday and I'm like, I feel so fucking good. A part of me wants to hold off a little bit more. Now, not that Instagram makes you feel shit, but if you do check it consistently and it fucking has hold of you, it does make you feel like shit. And you know it. Subconsciously, you get off socials after a big dopamine hit and there's something that's going to linger. Where if it's someone that's triggered you, someone that's done something, someone that's posted something, like you watch, and then you watch the little voice that comes in. Because what happens for me now is when I check it at midday, I'm so clear and intuitive of how I actually feel, not what I think. When I check it, I'm checking it differently. Like it's very hard to explain, and I'm not just blowing smoke around at the moment to do a podcast. It's like, this is exactly what the fuck's going on with me. That's why I called it Matt Gamble Podcast. Talk about the shit that's going on in my body and fucking soul and mind and all that stuff. At midday or whenever after I've completed my task, because I feel so good for doing it, because there's sometimes a bit of resistance, like a habitual thing where I just go on. I check it. And as I'm watching it, as I said before, I'm like above. It's like I'm watching myself check it. And I'm not too far in it. And it's like, oh, look at that. That would have triggered you. That used to trigger you. Look at that. Oh, and it's so much easier to check it now. And like literally after I've like replied to the DMs, maybe posted a quote, read this, seen this, flick through some stories, realized it's all the same shit. I'm like done. I'm like, I need to get off. Like, I'm like, this is just, I don't really need this. Like, this life that I have right now is exactly what I want. And the reason this all sort of come, I think it was like mid last week, I was in a meditation and the feeling was like, where are you at the moment? Like, are you fulfilling and conquering to the best of your ability? Like, are you showing up at a nice place? And I wasn't showing up as much as I could as a father, as a partner. And those were the two emotional ones that really went, sort your shit out. You know, you can up this, because you don't want to leave no stone unturned. When you're on that deathbed, you're looking back on, fucking how many hours did I spend on these fucking devices that brought me nothing? Or how many hours did I spend not being present because I was just numbing myself with these stupid devices? Or how many times did you fuck up and you watch porn and then you tried to like be present in conversations? Because when I watch porn and I try and have a conversation, I can't look them in the eye. Straight up. That's exactly what happens. I can't look Janae in the eye, anyone else in the eye, because I just feel numb. Like I feel like, and it's funny because when you feel, you start blaming other people because you can't see what's actually going on. It's not no one else. It's no one else's stuff. It's your stuff. So I had to look at my stuff. And don't get me wrong, things were sweet. And I was like, yeah, but they can be sweeter. You can show up that little bit better. You can put that energy that you used to put into that stuff back into your family, back in the presence of Janae, back in the presence of the kids, and see how that feels. And what does that do for me? Fills me the fuck up. That takes me from, working off 80% to 180 when I'm present with the girls, when I'm present with Janae. I'm in the conversation. We're vibing. We're helping each other out. We're being there for each other. Work. I'm fucking dominating on the gym floor. I'm holding present conversations with people. I'm, feeling conversations and things through other people when they're telling me about their stories or, how much G3 has changed their life. And it's funny because people have said that prior to when I say addicted to porn, I'm like, not really. It's like maybe twice a week, 3 times a week I used to max. And then it was sort of like once a week and I was trying to once a week, it's all right. It's like that. Just have one Tim Tam. But then it puts me on a spiral. So fully cutting it feels nice speaking about it. And also the phone thing. Prior to that, if someone would say G3's changed my life, blah, blah, and I would hear it, but I wouldn't feel it. And there's a difference. You don't realize how much you're thinking until you start putting practices in place to start feeling. And that's where social media, porn, all those numbing things that just take you out of the present moment, TV, the news, it's like intake. And it's like, how do you have room to actually feel what's going on inside of you when your mind is just fully at the brim, like you're fully clogged up? You don't have time to feel what's going on. So where things happen now, because I've got that gap, that empty, half of an empty cup, in the sense of I've used my energy to things that actually bring me more energy, and still check socials and still do what I got to do. It's one of the best business tools out there. But after, I've got all this free room in my body. And I start to get, at the moment, the first couple of days was real funny because I'm I've got to fill this void. I've got to go do something to burn it off. And I'm nah, bro, I'm fucking storing this shit. I'm good. Let's keep going. Been reading Ned Brockman's book, which is amazing. Shout out to Dion for allowing me to borrow it. Putting more emphasis into my recovery. Leg compression therapy, massive game changer. Especially because all of a sudden I run half marathons, which is another whole different story. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Well, I actually do know what's going on. I sat with it the other day and sort of seen what it is with running that's fulfilling me and other people, which I might touch on after this. But I'm putting energy into things that I know I'm going to get energy back, which gives me extra energy, which I'm I'm good. Because you got to remember, when you have a shit night's sleep, then you're on your phone all morning, you watch a bit of porn, or you don't go to the gym and you're eating shit. How can you think straight and be sharp? You can't. Your body and your mind are just nah. So what do? More shit food, more social media, knowing that. And you know what? There's going to be a day that I do fuck it up. And I know I'm human. I'm not superhuman. I have days that I fuck shit up and I miss the mark, but then I'm going to back it up the next day. So I go to bed that night. All right, buddy, you missed the mark there. You didn't even realize, but 10 a.m. you're on socials. Let's dial it back tomorrow. We know how this shit works. So yeah, that's where 24 minutes. Fuck, talk some shit. That's where I'm at. Massive game changer for me. So all in all, if you do feel like you check social media too much, start by not checking Instagram. That's my thing anyways. Whether it's TikTok, Facebook for you, whatever it is that you're attached to, start by not checking it before midday. I was going to set myself a mini task, which was 5 out of 7 days a week, which was just the weekends I can check it before midday. But my ego was if we're going to do this, don't fucking sugarcoat it. But if you feel as though that it's something you want to do, start small. Just go Monday to Friday, no Instagram before midday. Get rid of all the notifications, all the things that are going to rope you in. You'll feel a bit of resistance. Your ego and your mind will want to find some sort of other dopamine hit through Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, but just cut it all if you feel like you have to. because nothing else is going to give you that feeling except yourself. It's got nothing to do with your phone. What you're looking for isn't on there. It's in this present moment. It's going outside and putting your feet in the grass and taking a big deep breath. It's talking to your partner and being fully present. It's hugging your kids and feeling it. It's like holding a good conversation with someone. That's what you're actually looking for. Just to quickly touch on this running thing as well before I clock this off, I like to set it around the 30. I've been running last 10 weeks, 12 weeks, I think. Signed up to a half marathon and then thought the best way to train for a half marathon is to do one. So I did one last Sunday and the Sunday before. Feel really good. Just the recovery, I've just really got to make sure I do my ice baths, my leg compression therapy, which is a game changer for me. My legs recover so much quicker with those things. Cupping, massage gun, stretch, all that stuff. Tape my feet. So what I've realized is I don't run with any phone, no music, nothing. And the thing that what it's giving me is obviously a runner's high, which is a massive thing at the moment. But what it is, it's actually just making me focus on my breathing. And I notice when I run, if I'm not being truly present, I start to get a lot of resistance because I start to worry. I start to think like the ego says, fuck, you've got 17 kilometers left. You've just started. You know, how are you going to get through this? Your legs are going to be sore. Like once you break through all those barriers and all those little voices that come through, you can put yourself in a very powerful place. And I did a half marathon with some of my mates a couple of weeks ago. Felt great. I was fucked, but I felt great. And then last Sunday was like, I'm going to do it by myself. No one to push me except me. And at the end of the day, you've only got you. Like in this world, you've only, at the end, when you close your eyes at night, it's you and you only. So you want to make that relationship with yourself the best possible relationship. And that's why running for me has been the biggest thing. 21 kilometers on Sunday. And as I started running, my first few steps, I said, all right, it's you and me, buddy, let's go. And I started running, did the run, got to about 17 kilometers, and I just started, the ego was like, bruh, like just who cares? Like wrap it up. Like you got 3 kilometers, you nearly got it. One of the members, Eamon and Simone, live up the road at Factory Road and was like coming up to their house and it was like 16 kilometers. And it was like, just go inside, use their phone, call Janae, get picked up or get them to drop you off and get a drink of water. Like your legs are fucked, And it was like, oh, there's that voice that's going to tell me to stop. Because if I do stop, I've got a split second right now. I can make a decision. I've got to make a decision. Do I stop and think about it the rest of the day, about how you stopped? Or do I push through and think about how fucking good I feel that I said I was going to conquer something and I did it? That's the difference. When I'm sharp and clear within myself, when those split seconds come up of like, just eat it, who cares? Or just finish early. Like, come on, bro. And I'm clear enough to go, fuck that. If I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to feel so fucking good for doing it. So, feeling like a coffee. Episode 47. Thank you for listening. If this resonates, please let me know. Like the thing that keeps the wheels moving in this drive, in this part of my life in podcasting, is when people give me nice feedback. Give me any feedback of whatever comes up for you if you listen. I really appreciate that. Send me a DM or comment on the post or whatever. I like to hear what comes up for people with this, I know people do it already, but that's what keeps the juices flowing for me. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to lead by example, and I'm here to help change the world. And I do it by changing myself. It's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing that's real to me. You try and set out to help people and change people's lives, and you put that energy there. And if it falls short, you get left behind. So what I do now is I put energy in myself. I change myself. I show people it can be done. And if it can be done by me, then it can be done by you. So I love you. Thank you for listening. And until next time, let's go, baby.